Hey, beautiful ladies. How is everybody doing today? Come on in. I'm going to make sure that we are pulled up live here inside of the group. I also just want to make sure that I am live on my YouTube channel as well. So when you hop on, say hey, give me some hearts, show me some love. If you catch the replay, you already know the drill. Hashtag that replay, because I always give a shout out and show my gratitude for those who take the time to rock it out with me for the next, I'd say today is going to be a little bit longer. So say maybe 15 to 30 minutes. I always like to show my appreciation and some gratitude. So make sure that you do comment down below. Now, let me ask you this, beautiful ladies. How many of you right now may be dealing with a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, whether it has to do with what's going on in this world right now, whether it's a political matter, whether it's things that's going on with your family, maybe it's something going on in your relationship. Maybe you're deciding right now, is it time for me to make this move to another city, to another country? Should I go ahead and start the business? Should I start dating again? There's all of these things that you want to do, but you have these fears, you have these anxieties, you have all of these things that are holding you back. So you feel like you're staying stuck and you just don't know what to do with it. My friends, you have hopped onto the right training today, because I am going to help you with all of that. Actually, one of the tips we are going to do today together very quickly. It only takes about a minute. We're going to do that together. But today I'm going to give you things that you can do while you're in the thick of it, when you're in the what the fudge am I going to do, when your heart is pumping and your blood is just like, your breath is like very heavy and you don't know what to do. I'm going to give you something for that today. But I'm also going to give you things that you can do daily to help you out with this fear and anxiety, because you deserve to get out here and live this beautiful thing called life, my friends. So make sure that you grab pen, make sure that you grab piece of paper. I have my notes over here, and I always say watching me is great. I truly do appreciate it. But make sure that you are writing things down, because there are actually many studies that states that you will actually retain the information better when you are writing the things down. And not only that, as your women's empowerment coach, I'm here to tell you that you have to put these things into action. Because if you don't put the things into action, nothing is going to change. And I always say, if you want something different, you have to do something different. And I believe you ladies do want something different, or you wouldn't be on this training today. Am I right? But before we hop into that, I do just want to very quickly introduce myself for those who do not know who I am, or maybe you're just getting new to knowing who I am. Welcome. My name is Mia Bolden. I am a certified ICF women's empowerment coach, motivational speaker, retreat leader, and the admin and creator of this amazing group, Travel Adventures for Women Over 40, where everything that we talk about in here has to do with mindset, motivation, manifestation, and travel. Everything that you beautiful ladies need to set up this season in your life the way that you desire and deserve. So welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Now, I have been I'm going to share some personal things that I have worked with fears and anxieties, because people see me now, whether it's on stage, whether it's on a podcast, whether it's at a retreat or I'm coaching, and they're like, Mia, you just don't have these fears, or you just seem so confident. And I'm here to tell you, I was not always like this. The same tools that I'm going to pass to you today are things that have helped me overcome a lot of the fears, and still some of the fears that I'm going to talk about that I still go through to this day. These are the same things that I give to my coaching clients, and I'm going to pass them on to you. But remember, you have to put these things into action. So again, if you don't know, I have been in the women's empowerment realm for a combined 16 years. Okay. So I am not new to this when I am talking about these things. I have seen them from women saying that I'm too old, I'm not strong enough, it's too late for me, I don't know if it's going to work, I'm afraid to fly, I shouldn't do that. They will literally go on and on and on about these things that they want to do, but all of these fears and these anxieties hold them back, and that's what's keeping them stuck. And I always say, and I'm sure you've heard this before, my friends, the magic happens outside of the comfort zone. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're going to get the same results. So I am going to give you the steps today that have helped me, helped coaching clients, and I still use them to this day. But let's talk about some of the fears that I've personally had And what I'm hearing right now from the coaching clients that I have, my newest fear, the one that I have worked through, for those who are into looking for a companionship or a lifetime partner, I had really cut that side of me off for a long time because I was in toxic relationship after toxic relationship. To be honest, every relationship that I was in as an adult, every single one of them, I got cheated on. So I felt like I was not good enough. I had all these fears and anxieties about dating again. There's no good love out there. Like I had all of these things. So I literally shut myself off to that. I started healing myself, doing that thing. And then I was like, all right, I'm ready to open myself up to love. But then all of those fears and all of those anxieties came back up. The tools that I'm giving you today, I had to personally use those myself. And now here I am now that in July, it will be 2 years that I have been in a happy relationship. But I wouldn't have been there had I not worked over these fears and these anxieties had I had about a relationship. Back this up. People see me. I lead women's empowerment retreats. If you don't know that, people see me all the time leading these women empowerment retreats. And they're like, oh, I would love to do that. I'd love to get out there and do that. You know, whatever the case may be. I remember my first retreat. I literally was freaking the fudge out right before it was about to start, almost crying. I believe I dropped a tear or two. To be honest with you, I probably did cry. Crying, like thinking, is this going to work? Are these ladies going to like my coaching? Am I going to be able to show up for these ladies at the retreat? Am I going to be able to lead this? Like all of these fears, all of these anxieties and these doubts came up. That was 8.5 years ago. Now I lead at least a minimum of 1 retreat per month. You have to get over those fears and anxieties. Before then, I remember the first time or a few times that I got on stage. I'm very blessed that I had a great speaking career, actually getting ready to get back out to that again. But I remember one time when I was on stage and I was speaking there, I was chosen to speak at a Women's Success Summit in Santa Barbara. The lady who spoke before me was Dr. Whitfield, who had just received the Lifetime Achievement Award from President Barack Obama. And who spoke after me was Dr. White, who was a regular on Oprah's podcast, and Mia from Pensacola, Florida, empowerment coach and motivational speaker. What the fudge? You're talking about fears and anxieties about being on the stage. And I hear this all the time. Mia, I would love to speak. I would love to coach. I have a story to tell, but I'm scared. I get it. I've been there. I was there. I remember being in the bathroom, and I tell this story a lot at my retreats. I was in the bathroom right before it was my turn to get on stage, literally thinking, how can I get out of this? Literally thinking I'm going to tell them I have a family emergency. I have to leave right now, like freaking the fudge out, all of that. But I had to push through that. And I was very grateful that for 3.5, almost 4 years, I traveled the world, was an international speaker, put on conferences, led many conferences, but I had to push past that fear. Before that, I started coaching. I was like, who's going to listen to me coach? I didn't graduate college. I didn't get my GED till I was 25. I failed half of my life. Who is going to listen to me? All of these fears and all of these anxieties came up. But I had to work through that. And again, I've been coaching now for over 8 years. I could go on and on. Before then, I owned a women's fitness studio. I was freaking the fudge out. Mind you, I was just overcoming being 300 pounds myself, having body image issues, confidence was gone, self-esteem was gone. And you want to open up a women's fitness studio? What the fudge? But I pushed past that and I did some of these things that I'm going to tell you. So again, my friends, I get it. I am not just talking about you should do, you should do, you should do. These are things that was passed down to me from my mentors, from my coaches, from the things that I learned. These are things that I have personally had to work through myself and that, again, I give to my coaching clients and I'm passing them on to you because I don't want that fear to hold you back anymore. What if it don't work out? What if it's too late? What if I fail at it? What if there's no good love? What all these what ifs. Before I even get into what I'm about to say, what if it all works out just the way it's supposed to? How about that? How about instead of freaking out, asking yourself, like, what if it works out exactly the way that it is supposed to? And that does not have anything to do with any of the tips that I'm giving you, but that's a powerful statement just to say right there. Okay. Now, again, right now, we already know there's a lot going on. Tell people I don't like to talk about politics, But it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. So a lot of political things going on, a lot of uncertainty going on. There's a lot of prices going up. There's a lot of, not only that, the environment's off the chain. There is a lot of marriages that are going through a lot right now. There is a lot of friendships that are being lost right now. There is a lot of ladies out here that are saying they are not happy right now. There is a lot of things right now that is driving a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety. And a lot of people think that it just started now. I tell people this all the time. I don't know where y'all been, but I remember 2020 was not too long ago. The world shut down, right? So we had to work through fears and anxieties of that. So I have been coaching on this and working through this for a long time, ladies. So I'm telling you these things that I'm giving this to you. These are things that are going to work. So make sure, again, I have my notes, but make sure that you write these down and to put these things into action. And we are going to start off right here with number 1. How can we stop the fear and the anxiety for real this time so we can move forward and to go after the things that we desire? Whether it's taking a trip, or whether it is starting to date again, whether it is starting your own business, whether it is making a move, whether it is having a conversation that you have to have, or it is just daily fears and anxiety. How do we deal with it? Let's talk about it. Tip number 1, and this is the one that we are going to do together, and that is called box breathing. I talk about this all the time, especially at my retreats when we're doing our workshop. Box breathing. Have you ever heard of box breathing? Have you ever heard of that? I didn't for the longest time, but when it came to me again, I was at a point where I was like, I'll try just about anything to release all this stuff that I have going on. But with box breathing, this was invented by the Navy SEALs. Now, you ladies know that the Navy SEALs, they are under some mother fudging high pressure. You talking about some high pressure situations. We have the inside of us, it's called the sympathetic and the parasympathetic system. It helps us regulate our breath, which helps us regulate our anxieties, which helps regulate a lot of things that are going on. Now, again, I tell people all the time, when I talk, I'm not making these things up. I do a lot of studying, whether it's from neuroscience, whether it's to the physics, to the whole nine, to the woo-woo, because I'm very big on the woo-woo as well. But the Navy SEALs invented this because we have this system, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic system, which will help us regulate our breath, which will help us calm down in a lot of high intense situations. But what typically happens when we're in a lot of fear, when we're in a lot of anxiety, when we're stressed the fudge out, oh, my Lanta, we're at war, my flight is late, I can't believe my granddaughter did this, I cannot believe my boss did that. Usually what we do is we tighten ourselves up. I'm mad, I have an attitude, doing all of this, and that is what is holding a lot of that fear and anxiety. Believe it or not, we're going to do it right now. Just doing box breathing will help you lower that. And what is box breathing? It is very simple. I tell people to think about a box. You're going to breathe in for 4. You're going to hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. We are going to do 4 rounds of this together right now. It takes 1 minute. Unless you're driving, unless you're listening to me at work, do not do this. Don't want you to get fired. Definitely don't want you to get into an accident. But I'm going to show you how simple this is. And I want you to see how you feel after you do this. Now, I want you to close your eyes. Nobody can see you. Again, hopefully you're not at work and you're somewhere where you can truly do this. I'll tell you when to open your eyes again. You're going to close your eyes. Taking a big inhale in, exhaling all the way out. We'll do that again. Big inhale in, exhale all the way out. We'll begin here. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3. Last time. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3. And just go back to your normal breathing and open your eyes. How do you feel? Just by me doing that with you, and I wasn't even really doing the breath work because I was counting, I feel calmer. And I didn't even do the breath work. When I do this, whether I'm doing it at a seminar, whether I do it at a retreat, I've been on stage and done this, and I ask ladies, how do you feel after you do that? Literally, I hear things like, I feel calm, I feel centered, I feel present, I feel relaxed, I want to do it again, right? So that is your first thing. How do I stop fear and anxiety? If you are feeling antsy, if you're in a stressful situation, if your flight is late, if it's canceled, if you have a tough conversation you have to go into, if you're having all these fears and anxieties about a big presentation you have to do, I don't know what that could be for you. Take a minute. Do 4 rounds of box breathing, settle yourself, and that will help calm the fear and the anxiety right there in that moment. You can either do something about it, or you can continuously go down the rabbit hole and just let it continuously freak you the fudge out, work you up that high. Why is the flight late? Why isn't she answering me? Why is this not going? What if it doesn't work? You can go down that, or you can calm the fudge down and do this tip number 1, and that is box breathing. I hope that made you feel good. It made me feel good. Number 2 that I have down here for you beautiful ladies on how to stop the fears and anxiety is to stop watching the news, my friends. This is a huge one for me. I have not watched the news now for about 6 years. Now, of course, I see the news because I'm in the airports a lot and I do a lot of travel. So I will see the news, but I do not actively go looking to turn on CNN or to look at the news. And why? I don't even feel like I should explain that. One is because every time I would watch it, I know, and you probably can relate to this, I would either get upset, I'd have 1,000 questions, I'd feel uncertain, I was nervous, like all of these things that were not serving me. My energy was just freaking the fudge out. I always say you have to be aware, but you do not have to be inundated. The news is trained to actually show the things that keep our attention the most. And what is that? It's the most negative thing that they can show. Whether it comes from the weather, whether it comes from the politics, whether it comes from whatever is the wars, the riot, they're going to show you the worst of the worst that is going on. Let me give you an example. Right now, I have a friend who is in Dubai, and this was maybe about like a week ago or so. And I know they were saying like it was crazy over there, and they were showing like all these things. Now, again, I haven't watched it in the week or so, but this was a week when I saw it. And she literally called me. She's like, Mia, I don't know what they're showing on the news. She's like, but this is us right now. I remember when I was in Greece, this was a few years ago for one of my retreats. In Greece, every year they have a forest fire. Like they have it's kind of like a thing that it's just kind of like California. They have a high, I don't know what the right word is for it, but they have a season where fires are just prone to happen. So it just so happens that I had a retreat at that time. There was a fire. We knew about it. My Airbnb, he's my family now. My host knew about it, so we always had a backup plan. Again, safety is my number 1 on these things. So I already knew what was going on. When I tell you, from my mother to family members to those I didn't even talk to, like that were calling me, are you okay? We see all these fires going on in Greece right now. We're watching the news, da 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, we're fine. We're out in the pool. Like we know it's going on. We know there are places that's bad, but again, the news will show you the worst. It's going to raise your anxiety. I have my mother, bless her heart, one of my favorite aunts, bless her heart. All they do is watch CNN sometimes from the time they wake up to the time they're going. And what do they do when they're yelling at the TV? Their blood pressure is high. They're screaming at what's going on. They're telling me you shouldn't travel. You shouldn't do this. Look, if I would have listened to y'all, I wouldn't have be in business right now for 8.5 years doing what it is that I do. So again, my tip number 2 is to stop watching the news. You have to be aware, but you do not have to get inundated. Get the news from where you know you need to get the news from. And if you have to watch it for however long it needs you to do to get your updates, and then move the fudge on. Because again, energy is transferable. You're going to hear me say this a couple times within this. I am very big on the woo-woo as well. And that's not even the woo-woo. It's a fact. It's a scientific fact. Energy is transferable. And what is happening if we are watching the news, we're in fear, then what do? Their fear and all that's transferring to us. And then what are we going to do? We're going to transfer that to everybody else. And then it spreads. Number 1, stop watching the news to stop that fear and anxiety right now. Number 2, what I have for you is you must raise your vibration daily. I am huge on this. Write that down. Raise your vibration daily. And if you know me any longer than 2 seconds, I am always talking about a morning routine. Why do you have a lot of fear and anxiety? Because the first thing you do when you get up, before you get out of bed, you're scrolling through social media, you're looking at the news, you're checking the emails, you're damage controlling, like, oh, I got to get to that. Oh, what? I can't believe they did that. Oh my goodness, look at that. Like literally you have all this stuff. Again, energy is transferable. You have to raise your vibration daily. You are a non-negotiable. So if you have a lot of fears and anxieties, please start with a morning routine, and it does not have to be big. Give yourself 8 minutes. 8 minutes. Can you do that? You're worth it. Take 1 minute, take 20 seconds to sit there when you wake up and thank your higher power for getting up that day. That is going into gratitude, one of the highest vibrations you can be on. Take 4 minutes and 44 seconds in that bed to go ahead and meditate before you get out. Calm your energy, calm your nerves, relax yourself. And then take another 4 minutes to listen to something positive, inspirational, or raise your vibration. Whether that's some good music, you got a power playlist that you like to listen to, turn that on for 4 minutes. Whether it's gospel, listen to that. Whether it's your affirmations, listen to that. But you have to raise your vibrations daily, and I'm very big on starting in the morning. But if you're like me, I really can't do it. Look, do it when you can, whether that's going for a walk every day, taking that belly dancing class because it makes you feel good, taking that painting class because you are making yourself a non-negotiable and you are raising your energy and your vibration. You wonder why you're stressed out all the time because you're worried about everybody else and everything else, and you're not pouring into yourself. That is where a lot of fears, that's where a lot of anxiety, that is where a lot of stress comes, is because immediately you wake up in fight or flight, immediately you wake up in damage control, and you have got to stop doing that, my friends. Give yourself 8 minutes. Tell me you don't have time for that. Go ahead. I'll wait. Okay. The next thing that I have down here for you beautiful ladies is you have to take time now, and I want you to look at your environment and to adjust accordingly. What do I mean by that? This could be you. You have a lot of fears and anxieties. Why? Because you're around Debbie Downers, negative Nancy's, gossipers, the one who want to tell you about the news. They want to tell you about how everything's going to go wrong. They want to gossip about everybody else. The things you're listening to, the things that you're watching, whether it's the podcast you're listening to, the news that you're watching, the music that you're listening to that talks about all the love, that everybody's cheating and nothing's going right. And then you wonder why you have fears and anxieties. We're watching reality. Now, don't get me, I used to call myself a reality whore. I did. I used to, because I was a housewives of everything, a love and hip hop of everything. Like I was a reality whore. I had to stop that because I tell people all the time that is programming your subconscious mind with. What you program your subconscious mind with becomes your belief, and what you believe is what you put into action, and what you put into action becomes your reality. So if you are sitting there programming your subconscious mind with negative Nancy's, Debbie Downers, gossipers, the news, the music that talks about all the cheaters and things are going to go wrong, what are you programming your mind with, and why do you think you have fears and anxieties and you're staying stuck? So it is time for you to check your circle and adjust accordingly. It is time to set up those boundaries with the people that are bringing you down. And how do you know? Trust yourself. If you feel like every time I get around them, they are gossiping, I call them energy drainers. You know who they are. If you get around them and every time you're getting drained or they're talking about everything that's going wrong, that is seeping into your subconscious. You got to get away from them. Get around positive people. Start going to the painting class, to the book clubs, to the entrepreneurs meet conferences, to the retreats that will empower you, to I was going to say polka. What the fudge, polka? But what is it called? Not tennis. What's the other one, ladies, that's going on right now? Because I said I wanted to start doing, oh, my Lanta. What is it? Put it in the comments below. You know what I'm talking about, but not the tennis group, but the other one. I can't believe I am just drawing this blank right now. But anyways, get around those people. Stop watching the things that are bringing you down. Start pouring life into yourself, and you want to get away from fears and anxieties. Maybe you want to start traveling after 65, but you're like, I don't know if I can do it. Instead of sitting there and watching the news and reality TV, go ahead and start, look on YouTube. I call it YouTube University, and put in solo travelers over 65. Look up women over 40 who've started dating again. Get around people that are doing the things that you desire to do and the way that you desire to do it, so they can show you what is possible. Start listening to positive positive podcasts, get around it, because if you don't start doing that, that fear and anxiety is still going to be there. So now it's time to check the circle and adjust accordingly. And I'm telling you now, your friends and your family are going to be the ones that's going to be the hardest to set those boundaries with, because you are emotionally attached to them. But if they're a part of that negative Nancy and the Debbie Downers and the ones who want to remind you of who you used to be, it is time for you to get away from them, because that's where a lot of that fear and anxiety stems from. But I'm just letting you know, might be tough with the family and friends. It's not easy, but it is necessary. This next step that I have down here for you to stop the fear and anxiety is to redirect your energy. I am very big on this, my friends. Everything is energy. If you start feeling like a lot of negative thoughts, I'm not good enough, it's not going to work, what if we go to war, what if I don't know. I'm very big on Mel Robbins. Y'all know who Mel Robbins is? Love me some Mel. Did studying under her, whole nine. But she has a book called the 5-second rule. So in that, there's neuroscience behind that. Literally stop that thought, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I can do this. I serve, I deserve. It is my time and I'm ready for the next step. Anything is possible. Literally redirect the energy. If you are in a room with a bunch of people and the whole conversation is negative, and you're wanting to date again, but everybody's talking about how they got cheated on, how online dating is horrible, you wonder why you have fear and anxiety about dating again, because that's all you hear. You better redirect that energy, change the conversation. I see it all the time. I do it, actively do it all the time. When I was starting to date again, mind you, I am a retreat leader, and a lot of the ladies on my retreats are single, and a lot of the ladies are either wanting to date again or they are in the dating process. So it's like almost being around the sororities again, and you would hear the ladies just sharing all the stories. Oh, I dated. Oh, this one cheated. Oh, but literally, and I would have to change the subject. Because if I'm looking to find love and I'm looking to attract that into my life, if I didn't redirect that energy, I'd start going down the same rabbit hole that they would and start bringing up all my past failed and cheating relationships and toxic relationships. And what do you think I'm going to attract to myself? Fear and anxiety about dating and love again. And then I would shut down and I would be stuck and I would have never dated again. Again, you can redirect that energy. Also, you can redirect the energy within yourself. I tell people this all the time. Watch funny videos. Listen to positive podcasts. Put on your power playlist. If you feel like this fear and anxiety is creeping in your head about whatever the fudge that is for you, you have to go to these tools. Create a power playlist. I am very big on that. It's just like the pep rally. You remember back in the day before the sports or before you had whatever football, you had the pep rally. It raised everybody's energy. You better do this. There's scientific studies behind that. Do that for you. I have power playlists on both of my phones. Whether I'm going to a speech, whether I'm working out, whether I'm going through a stressful situation, I have a playlist that will get me out of that. Because I have to redirect my energy, because if I do not, I will have fear and anxiety. Nobody will listen to me on stage. Nobody will sign up for my coaching program. I can't move out of the country. Like literally, you have to do these things and redirect your energy. I have 3 more things for you beautiful ladies here. And this next thing is you have to learn how to focus on what you can control and to release the rest. Might sound easy, but it's difficult in the beginning, especially for my type A's, the one who want to be in control of everything. There's a lot of things in this world, and that was me all day. I was Miss Independent. I don't need anybody. I can do this by myself. I got it. I don't need help. Like literally, that was me. And even still to this day, I have to work on that, because if not, that creeps back in. But you have to learn that there are things that we can control. I can control turning off the news. I can control not listening to these politics that's going to go on right now. I can control and not engaging. I can also control and going to vote so when I do want to say something, I can do that. I can control, maybe I can't control how high housing is going up, or I can't control the neighborhood that I'm in, but I can control? I can control moving out of the country, which I did 2 years ago. Love Jamaica. That's where I'm at now. So again, you have to learn, what can you control? I see people, again, I do a lot of traveling. I see people freak the fudge out and get attitudes. Not freaking out, they just got attitudes about flights getting canceled, delayed, whatever the case may be, because I do a lot of traveling. You can't control that, first of all. And second of all, I'd rather be on the ground than up in the sky with any type of weather, mechanical issues, things like that. So I said, pilot, do your thing. Whatever y'all got to do, do you. And when that happens, I say thank you. Literally, I redirect my energy. I say thank you because I cannot control that. What I can control is let me look for another flight. Let me go grab me a glass of wine and some appetizers since I got a few more hours. Whatever can we go for a walk because I've got a long flight and I'll be sitting for the next 12 hours. Let me walk up and down this airport. Again, once you learn that, you can't control other people's reactions, things, and that's another thing. People want to control you can't control how they're going to react or what they're going to do. You can only control yourself. And once you do that, you will be able to release a lot more of these fears and anxieties. I'm telling you, put that in your back pocket. Next one I have for you is this. Oh, this one is juicy. This one is a good one. These last two are all of them are good, but these two is some of my two favorites. It just made me smile looking at them. This next one I always talk about, the fears and anxieties, the what if it doesn't work out? What if there's no good love? What if I go broke? What if I lose a job? What if I can't date again? What if I'm no good at this dance class? What if all these what ifs, right? I tell people all the time, your fears, they're valid. Let them be valid, okay? But don't leave them up here because that's where it will fester. That's where you can't sleep at night. Blood pressure's high, fears, anxiety, stresses, all of these things if you leave them up here. So this is something that I still do to this day. I pass it to my coaching clients and I'm passing it to you, is to put it pen to paper, write it on paper. What if I miss my flight? What if nobody talks to me? What if the business fails? What if this date doesn't go right? What if I stumble over my words? Blah, blah, blah. Write it down. And then don't just put it down. Answer the motherfudging question. Well, if I miss the flight, I'll have insurance. I can book another one. What if I stumble over my words? I'll take 2 seconds to pause and pick myself back up again and restart again. What if this date doesn't work? I'll try another dating app or I'll go on another date again. What if I don't like this painting class? Well, I won't go to that paint. I don't know. Again. But what happens is a lot of times once you get it out of here and you put it on paper, sometimes you'll go through that and you'll start marking off stuff like shut the front door, Mia. That would never happen. Like that ain't even going to happen. And you'll start marking things off. Or you'll have an answer for what you are afraid of. And then you have that's a plan. Now you have a plan. And I'm very big on clarity breeds confidence. You'll be more confident. You were talking yourself off the ledge. All those fears and those anxieties, you will literally feel them like melting away as you do this exercise. Game changer. Like if I mess up on this speech, I can take 2 seconds. I can write it down on my card. I can put it on my phone and look at that. Like whatever the case may be, practice it before you get there. I can't tell you how many, I've been on stage and literally went blank. And guess what I practiced? I forgot what I was going to say, ladies, but we'll get right back to that. And we just keep moving right along. But if I would have been in it, I have no doubt I would have been like, oh, snap. I forgot what it was I was going to say. And I'm freaking the fudge out. And then I'm up there with a blank slate. No, I already practiced it. I already got a game plan. I know what's going to happen. So again, get the fears out of your head. Put them on paper. What if I go to the doctor and they give me the worst news? Well, what is our backup plan for that? I have my support system. I am going to go to Thailand because they have great healthcare. I don't know, but you just put it on paper. I'm gonna retire and just move and start living for me. It might make you feel good, like shut up, whatever the case may be. But if you leave them in here, you'll have fear, you'll have anxiety, you'll feel stuck, you don't want to do it. And then here we are next year, 5 years from now, we're going to have the same conversation. Again, these tools I'm giving you, they work, but you have to do them. So pen to paper, whatever it is that you are afraid of, whatever fears that you have going on right now, whatever is keeping you up at night, put them down on paper and answer the motherfudging question. And if you need some help with that, reach out, comment down below. Some of the ladies in this group can help each other out, or I will be glad. I pop in here on all of my videos and I answer any questions that you have, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. But remember, clarity breeds confidence. When you get it out of here, you put it on paper, you'll have a game plan, and that will help you out with this fear and the anxiety. And the last thing that I have for you beautiful ladies is it's time for you to talk about it. If you truly feel like I have a lot of fear, I have a lot of anxiety, Mia, I've even tried a lot of these things you've given me, it is time for you to get help and to talk about it. This is one of the biggest things we don't like to do, ladies, getting vulnerable, sharing the story, maybe telling somebody I'm not as strong as you thought I was. How do I know? Because I've been there. I've had to get vulnerable. I've had to say I don't have it all in control. I've had to be the one, I am freaking the fudge out and I don't know what to do. It's time for you to ask for help. Whether that is in the form of a coach, a therapist, an accountability partner, a sister circle, a support group, whatever that is. Write this down. I am very big that the shame will shrink when it's shared out loud. The shame will shrink when it's shared out loud, because let me tell you what will happen. What happens is we let all this sit in our head and we're like, oh my goodness, it's just me, poor me. Nobody knows what I'm going through. Whatever the case may be. When you talk to someone, that's one of the big we have a lot of some ladies in here, quite a few ladies, you've been on the retreats. We do a very powerful sister circle at my retreats. Well, ladies will, because my focus in my retreats is releasing the things no longer serving you. So these ladies are telling their story and they're saying these things, and literally afterward, you can see it. They're like, or they just feel better just to get it off their chest. Then somebody else in the circle will be like, oh my goodness, Tracy, I can so relate to you. I kind of was through something. And then Tracy's like, shut up. It's not just me. Or, I thought it was just me. Sometimes we think it's just us. Nobody can relate to us. And then you get around people and like, okay, I'm not as jacked up as I thought I was. It's not just me. Other people can relate. This is a part of life. This is a part of growing, which will make you feel normal, make you feel like I can do this. I can push through it. And not only that, when you talk about it, somebody will be there, especially when you're going to the coach, the therapist, the counselor, the accountability partner, the person who can really help you. They will give you the tools to work through that. Maybe help you get a game plan to overcome those fears or those anxieties, and will help you actually do that. But if you keep it to yourself, it's not going to help, and it's going to fester, and it is just going to get bigger and bigger. And once again, that's where high blood pressure, anxiety, I can't sleep, I have these fears, I'm freaking the fudge out, because you are not doing anything about it. You literally are doing what we like to do a lot, and that's push it down. I'll just stay busy. I'll just keep going. And then something else will come up that you want to do. I want to make the move. I want to take the trip. I want to date again. And then you'll be like, oh, no, I can't do it. Why? Because you're not working through these fears and these things that you have to do. So I just gave you 8 ways that you could immediately, whether it's the box breathing, I'm freaking out today, I got a big conversation or a tough, whatever the case may be. I have a lot of fear. I have a lot of anxiety about something going on. I'm on the plane. There's a lot of turbulence. What the fudge? Box breathing. Go into that. Again, 4 in, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. That is something you could do. I also gave you things that you could do daily, raising your vibrations. I gave you things that you could do in the moment when you're in a crowd, when you're with other people and they're being negative and they're raising your fears and your anxieties. So literally, hopefully I have hit things that you can do in the moment, daily, when you're in a group, when you're by yourself, and how you can actually pass this on to others, because again, energy is transferable. If we get rid of all these fears and these anxieties and we start living in what is possible and the empowerment side of everything, you're going to start transferring that to other people. And I'm telling you, that is what we need right now, especially right now in this world. It's a lot going on, my friends. Okay. So I hope this has helped you out. I just gave you 8 ways on how you can stop fear and anxiety. And if you still feel like you need just a little bit more, and if you have not checked out my Unbound and Unstoppable bundle, it is 4 of my best coaching programs right now. I have bundled those up all into one to release the life that's no longer serving you, how to find your passion and purpose at any age, creating your abundant lifestyle. Like, you really need to get that bundle. You really need to check it out. I'm telling you, if you keep doing the same things, you're not going to get anything different. If you would like to check that out, comment the word unstoppable below. I will be glad to share that with you. It's got PDFs. It's got training videos. I have my affirmations playlist. I have my meditation playlist. All those are led by yours truly. So if you're interested in that, comment the word unstoppable below. But again, I want you ladies to not let the fears, let the anxieties, let the doubts hold you back. And if nothing else, instead of saying, what if it doesn't work out? What if it goes wrong? What if all these bad things? Start saying, what if it works out exactly the way you want it to? Write a story about that. Just think about that every day. What if you move to the Bahamas and it goes exactly the way that you want it to? What if you retire and just live on a cruise ship now? Because that's a thing. A lot of people, I've seen it. A lot of people are retiring now. They're living on cruise ships. It is a thing. But you might be saying, oh, no, I can't do that. But what if you do it and you love it and you meet some good friends and you get out there and do that? What if you start dating again after 50? What if you start dating again and you find one of the best loves in your life? I think that we have many loves in our life, but that could be one of the best loves. What if you go and do that speech that you've been saying you want to do, and the women in the audience come up to you afterwards and they're like, oh my goodness, you helped me out so much. I've been needing to hear this message. What if it goes out right like that? Think about that. I'm going to leave you, beautiful ladies, the way that I always do. You know that I believe in you. If you're at a point right now, again, where you're not quite believing in yourself, I believe in you. And sometimes you have to believe in the belief that others have in you before your own belief kicks in, because it will. Do not let these fears hold you back. I should have said this at the beginning. If you're still hanging on at the end here, fears, false evidence appearing real. That's all that is. Favorite acronym for fear, false evidence appearing real. What if it doesn't work? What if I mess up? What if it doesn't go through? What if? It's false evidence. We're making it appear real up in here, so stop it. All right, beautiful ladies. Again, if you would like to check out that bundle, the Unbound and Unstoppable bundle, comment the word unstoppable below. I will be glad to send that to you. And I hope you ladies have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll see y'all on the next training. Peace.